When I first got to know the word revolution when I was young, I imagined it was an epic moment during which all ordinary life halted. All the people came out in the streets, all the shops closed, all the work halted. No shop could remain open during the revolution. No bus or microbus or taxi could traverse the streets during the revolution. All open shops would be stormed. All moving vehicles would be destroyed. People would march, gather in demonstrations, engage in clashes. No one would go anywhere except for the revolution. No one would do anything outside of the revolution. All people and all they'd lived, all moment would be dedicated to the battle. I couldn't imagine what people would eat or how they would go on. I only imagined how they would die, how they would kill each other until it ended with an overwhelming victory for one side over the other. The revolution would be named after the victors, and a new life would begin under this victory. The evening of 25th January, once the security forces had dispersed us and we'd been chased from Tahrir Square, we found ourselves in large groups in downtown Cairo and so kept on demonstrating. And when the security forces again broke up the numerous demonstrations near the square, these split into a large number of smaller demonstrations running from downtown into the surrounding neighborhoods. I felt that the moment had begun to gain significance. This was not just a demonstration. It wasn't just a demonstration coming to an end. This was the big moment. When I noticed a taxi approaching, I was astonished to see it there amidst the revolution. All other vehicles had been speeding away from the marchers in fear, yet this taxi approached us and stopped nearby. Its appearance snapped me out of the ongoing big moments. I saw the street's residents awakening to the sound of our chants, looking sleepily down at us from their balconies, rubbing their eyes, some of them going back inside unperturbed. I remember that I could sleep a little. Maybe I could eat something. Perhaps I could go and write something while drinking a glass of wine. Maybe we could meet in cafes after the demonstrations and celebrate in the evening after the meetings. Perhaps some of us would die in the clashes. Some of us would go to the funeral, and others to prison or to the beach or abroad or to enemy lines. Perhaps I could get busy writing a long research paper, or my prolific dreams, or with following the news from the newspaper editorial office and the satellite channel studio. Perhaps I could return from the office and studio to break up the pavement and throw stones at the enemy, and then rest to the side and buy some crunchy snacks from a snack vendor on the corner, and follow the cat and mouse chase and the dead and the injured until the enemy overruns us, and I quickly join the defeated and we all run away. Perhaps I could grow tired of the revolution and travel for a month to Sudan and spend all my time reading Shakespeare and listening to Sudanese music and completely avoiding any news from Egypt. I could return and become preoccupied for months with a love story. Perhaps I could invite her to dinner or to a demonstration, or to the clashes.
I avoided the places she frequented for nearly a year. Then shortly before January 2011, we had a friendly yet tense meeting. I had prepared myself to appear mature and over it all, and she controlled her words to appear friendly in a way that promised nothing. In Tahrir Square, we exchanged the typical embraces of friends, exuberant that we were meeting at a sit-in. In celebration, we went to the movies the day after Mubarak stepped down. And despite the excitement of the revolution's victory, which provided a poetic background, it was clearly the beginning to a relaxed friendship that wouldn't dream of being more. We were colleagues in political activities and at work. Once we argued a great deal, and she made up with me just to ask how I had overcome my love for her, because she didn't know how to overcome her feelings for her boyfriend, since they had split up. It wasn't very nice, as is obvious, yet I replied with the fidelity of an ex-lover. I let go of all defense mechanisms and didn't tell myself that my love has been insignificant or my desire superficial despite your abuse and horrible behavior. Thanks for the compliment, she replied. I faced the problem and told myself it was beautiful and I wanted it very much, but it slipped away from me, and when I held on to it, I was humiliated. Humiliated? Yes, I was humiliated, but no problem, my dear. It's not the end of the world, and it won't be the last time. A few days later, she wrote a long post about an experience of desertion and loss and attempts to move on. And at the end, she wrote, I was humiliated, with a laughing emoji. It was nice of her, despite the sensitivities which I now felt were placed before me, to contemplate rather than being cloven into my neck. Eventually, I barely remembered them. During the worst moments of our defeat, she wrote, swearing bitterly and extending her curses to the revolution. Cursing the revolution is a defense mechanism we use to escape with. How can we live with this shit without a defense mechanism? In the same way? What way? By acknowledging that we took part in something grand and beautiful? Thanks for the compliment. You're welcome, but it slipped out of our hands, and when we tried to hold on to it, we were humiliated. Only humiliated? We were humiliated horribly, and we'll likely keep getting humiliated, but no problem, my dear. It probably won't be the end of the world, and I hope it won't be the last time. Smiling emoji.